Hi, hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Skye, and today we are doing a fun little open collab. So my friend Kelly, also known as RatBoar's on Instagram, has this kind of like ongoing open collab called Hue Fixation, where basically each month Kelly picks out a color to focus on, and this month it was Perfect Green. And you can do either like a look, a flat lay, your favorite singles, like a custom palette, what have you. And I thought I would use this opportunity to join in on Kelly's Hue Fixation collab and do my favorite green single shadows. Also, I am very aware that this Hue Fixation Perfect Green was the April prompt, and I am currently editing this video on May 1st. So it's a bit late. I'm sorry. I have curated them in a beautiful little palette here, and I had to join in on this one because green, as you can probably tell, is one of my favorite colors to wear. I just think I'm in my green era. I have been for like a couple years now. So yeah, I'm gonna be taking you through this little mini palette. I will be swatching them, talking all about my favorite green shadows, and also give Kelly RatBoar's a follow on Instagram. I love her content so much and she's so hilarious. She's really awesome. I highly recommend you check her out. But anyway, let's get on into the palette. Actually, before I do that, I just want to show y'all my makeup look today because I love it. I love it so much, and it's a crime that you don't get to see it in this video. So here you go. I used the Glisten Cosmetics Chroma Flick liner in the shade Medusa, and I just love it. Oh, I love multi-chromes and I love graphic liner. It's like a combination of my favorite things. Alright, let's get on into the actual meat of the video. Rightio, now here are my picks for my favorite green single shadows. I am so excited to show you my favorite green single shadows. I have curated like quite a pretty color story right here. I do have some more green singles, but I really had to be picky and like cull it down to my absolute favorites. And we're gonna go row by row and we're gonna be swatching these out. And I'm gonna be swatching them one by one on my hand right here, and then at the end I will do all of them on my arm. Just because most of these are multi-chromes and you'll be able to see the shifts better on my hand. Now, of course, we couldn't do this video without featuring my favorite green iridescent of all time. This is Lightyear by Terra. I've hit pan in it. I cannot express how much I love this shade. This is the most beautiful green, gold, blue iridescent. It mostly shifts green, hence why I classify it as part of the perfect green. If you're looking for the best green iridescent, this is truly the one. It is just, oh, look at that. It is like Terra most famous eyeshadow for very good reason, because this is just, oh my god, my voice is going because it's just so stunning. It is a very light, warm yellow toned green with gold shifts to it, so it might just look gold on camera, but it is just, oh, you can see the blue there. It is truly something magnificent. I love it so, so much. It's so smooth yet sparkly. It truly butters my egg roll. I highly recommend, if you don't have this shadow already, like, it is so worth having in your collection if you have nothing like it. I know other brands have their own versions, but I have Lightyear, and it's such a staple in my collection. I use this as face highlight all the fucking time. Now, this is one of my absolute favorite singles of all time. Like, not just green, just of all time. And this is Terra Coalescence. This is me in an eyeshadow. I've already uploaded the single shadow tag, and spoiler alert, this was the shadow I chose for the single that most represents you. This is just a beautiful lime green multi-chrome that shifts to an emerald green, gold, and pink. It is, and it's like a flaky texture. Well, I wouldn't say flaky, but it's more like, you know, I guess flaky is the right word, but it's not like a pressed flaky. It is truly magnificent. It's the same formula as the Cosmos from Terra, if you're familiar with that. It's that same type of like flakier textured multi-chrome, and oh, I adore this green so much. I truly think if you love green eyeshadow, this is a staple in your collection. You can't really see the pink shift in it, but there's like that warm orange and gold, and then emerald cool toned green, And this shadow is just magnificent. Every time I wear it, I feel perfect and pretty. I'm actually wearing this on my inner corners today because I did want to use at least one shadow from this palette. Placing a Terra Moon's order and you don't include Coalescence, I will be very upset, personally. This next shade is one of the newest shadows to my collection. This is Verdigris from the Shine by SD and Seeking Shifts Earthborn collection collab, or its true name that I like to call it, Verdigris. This is such a unique shade. I have never seen anything like it. It's got like a grey base and it shifts to like pink, like muted green, bit of a cool tone green there. It is such a unique shade. I'm trying to describe it, but I don't think it's coming across correctly. It does have olive undertones to it as well. Like, this is very much, if you like greens, but you're a bit scared and you want something a bit more neutrally, this is like a neutrally olive green grey with pink and green shifts. Like, oh, look at that on the fingy, man. It's so silky to the touch. And this is Verdigris. Oh my god, I love her. I love her dearly. It's so smooth and super shifty. I don't think you're gonna see the full, like, glory of it. Like, you can't really see the pink shift in it on camera, but you can see, like, the, like, cooler green and a little bit of, like, almost purple, maybe? I don't know. This shade is the most unique shade in my collection, and I believe it's called Verdigris because it is the colour of Verdigris, which is like a mineral. I think everyone can get down with this. I love it so much. Every time I see someone use it on Instagram, I'm just like, wow, I need to dip into this. This next shade is an oldie but a goodie. This is Laser from Glam Shop. Now, I personally don't buy from Glam Shop anymore. I just don't think that they are very inclusive, but I can't deny this is one of my favorite green shadows, so I still will show it. And this is, I think a lot of brands have a shade like this. I know Divina has one. I think it's Asteria. No, that one's not as, like, sheer. But anyway, this shadow has, like, a purpley warm base, like, almost like a magenta plum base. And it has super bright green, like, shifts to it. And this is more of, like, a sheer sparkly shade. It is, oh, it's so beautiful. And because it's that sheer sparkly formula, I just love a sheer sparkly formula. Wow, this is not gonna swatch well. I do find that this shade kind of swatches a bit like ass. Like, you do need like a tacky base and to smooth it out in order to like see it. If you apply your makeup with just like a dry finger and no base, like, you probably won't enjoy this. But you can see the shift on camera, like, it is so bright and brilliant, and the purple, like, duochrome flip to it is just stunning. For some reason on camera it doesn't look that green. I swear to god it looks really green IRL. And you can see how sheer it is on my finger. I love using this as a topper when I use, like, all mattes and then just tap this on the lid or on the inner corner. It is such a beautiful shade. I'm quite proud that for my perfect green, like, favorite green singles, all of these are very different. Okay, we're moving on to the first matte in this palette. This is from Terra Moons and it's the shade Fourth Dimension. Now, this is the only Terra Moons, like, matte shadow that I own, and I think they might have discontinued these, like, neon pastels, and I'm so sad if they have. It's like a cooler toned green, and it is just so stunning. You do have to build it up a little bit, and you do have to work a bit carefully because it has such a strong white base to it, and it is so powdery. It's so unique and so brilliant and vibrant. Like, on camera it looks like a little bit muted because it can't pick up just how intense this is. Yeah, I will fully admit that it is a bit hard to work with. You do have to be a bit careful when blending it because it can just dust away. Which I guess is why Terra Moons discontinued these, and neons are just so hard to get right. Even still, even with the issues, it is such a unique green to my collection, and I don't have any shades that are quite this bright and quite this cool toned. The only one I can think of that's, like, the same vibe is the Twitch shade from the Sugar Pill Fun Size, but even then, that one is more yellow toned, this is more blue. This next shade is another fucking classic. This shadow reminds me of my friend Andromeda. Like, every time I asked Andromeda, because they are known for green, and every time I asked for green recommendations, they always, like, scream from the rooftops about this beauty, and it is Terra Moon's Radiation. Now, this was my white whale for the longest time, and I'm so happy I finally have my hands on it. I say finally, I've had this for a year. I had been lusting after this shade for years. Like, I remember, like, when I first got into indie makeup and I was looking for the perfect green, this was the one. Like, but I never got around to buying it because I just couldn't. I didn't have the means to buy it. And when I finally purchased it last year, it is just everything I would have hoped for in a green and more. This isn't a multi-chrome by any means. It is one of their Cosmic Chameleon shades, which I think are meant to be, like, I think they're meant to be multi-chrome, but I don't think this one is. It is just a super foiled, classic green. Like, when I think of the colour green, this is the colour I think of. This is the perfect green, in my opinion. Like, it's so foiled, so sparkly, so saturated. It's perfect. And I can't describe how much I love this shade. Again, if you're a green lover, this is an absolute staple. Like, this and Coalescence, I would say, are, like, the ones you, like, need. I think also because no matter how many times I've tried different shades of green, nothing was quite like this. And when I finally got this, I was like, yeah, okay. I found it. I found her. Moving along, we have yet another Terra Moon's shadow. I think this is the last Terra Moon's shadow I have to talk about. Now, this is, again, one of my newest shadows, and this is Kazaa. Probably pronouncing it incorrectly. It's giving the same energy as Verdigris right here, because it has that, like, olive sort of undertone to it. It's like a muted, like, grey-green, but then it shifts to gold and pink. It's not the most multi-chrome shadow from Terra Moon's, but I have always been really drawn to this one. Like, it just captures my eye so much, and it's just, I don't know how to describe it. I guess just a muted, like, a slightly muted green. It's almost like if Terra Moon's Radiation and Verdigris from Shine by SD had a baby, and this is what you'd get. Like, it's a perfect mix of those two, actually. You can see the gold shift and how it has that, like, muted base, and it also shifts to, like, that warm emerald. Maybe it's the mutedness, maybe it's the slight oliveness, I'm not too sure, but it is such a beautiful green. I feel like y'all are gonna get sick of me talking about how beautiful each shadow is, but they are just stunning, they're just beautiful. I have to do a bit of surgery to get this one out, but this is the first Cleona shadow we have to talk about, and this right here is Heirloom. Now, this was my favourite, like, classic green before Radiation came along. Like, I bought this because a lot of people said that this was, like, a similar shade to Radiation, and I was placing a Cleona order already, so I was like, Heirloom's going straight in my basket. And you can tell with Radiation, like, they're definitely not dupes. Radiation is more warm-toned, Heirloom's a cooler-toned green. But you can tell this shadow is one of my favourites of all time. It's got such a dip in it, I've hit pan in it. It just, like, my finger perfectly fits in that pan, because I always apply this with my finger. I love this shade so much. It is my favourite cool-toned emerald green. It's a true emerald green, I'd say. It is so beautiful and magnificent. This is one of Cleona's vibrant multi-chromes from their stained glass collection. Now, I think this is their vibrant. I'm pretty sure. Now, their vibrant shades aren't, like, super shifty. Like, they're definitely not, like, their other, like, multi-chrome-y shadows, but I don't really care because it is so, well, vibrant. And it's such a beautiful cool-toned green, and it has, like, a slight warmer, like, shift to it, you can see there, but it really has that beautiful, like, mid-toned emerald. It is just so stunning. I always feel, like, like a magical, like, ephemeral, is that the right word? I don't know. I always feel like a mystical, like, swamp bog witch when I wear this. But this shadow is just so wonderful. I am so happy with how, like, used it is. It makes me so, so happy. And I feel like Heirloom is such an underrated shade. It is just wonderful. Also, my Surgeon's rags are looking quite wonderful. Look at all of that. Alright, the final row, and this is kind of like the grungy row. Now we have the predominant, like the bulk of the mattes. Now this one right here is a Glam Shop matte, and oh god, I can't pronounce Polish. Hang on a second. Kwashinak? No. Kwashniak. I'm Serbian, that's how I'd pronounce it in Serbian. I think this is called Acid, I'm pretty sure that's the English name for it. Thing is though, I refer to this tone and like this tone right here as like baby shit green, but I don't actually know if that's what baby poo looks like. I don't have a baby. Glam Shop's mattes, I can't lie, they are lovely. They're really pigmented, very powdery, and fuck, there's Glam Shop everywhere. I will say this does have a lot of fallout on your face, so do be wary of that if you want to try Glam Shop's mattes, but I still really like it. Like, I think their matte shadows are really underrated. As much as I, like, don't buy from the brand anymore, I still really like their matte formula. It's just so good. I don't really know if there's much to say about, like, matte shadows. I mean, not gonna lie, as much as I love sparkly shadows, I do love a good matte. When I have a good matte shadow, that gets me really excited. But I just don't know how to describe them. I'm like, it's a matte green. Good. Okay, this next shade right here is definitely like your deep khaki brown, and this is Calamon from Dandelions Co. I keep wanting to call it Kakamon, but this shade is a stunning deep caca brown. If you want to dip your toes into greens but you're scared of like these brighter tones, I would suggest getting something like this and then pairing like these shadows with it, because it is still like neutral and it is still got like the brown tones to it, but it is like also a green. It's wonderful. Dandelion's mattes are really incredible. Like, I tried them for the first time this year and I love them. They are so good. I understand why people hype them. Like, this is beautiful. Very powdery though, like very akin to the Glam Shop formula. I think these are a bit more powdery, these have a bit more thickness to them, but still, I really do enjoy them. Right, the penultimate shade, and it is the other Cleona shadow we have in this lineup. This is shit. It's not shit, this is Verde. This is one of their deep iridescents, and this has a grey base, and it shifts from like purple violet to bright emerald green. I love, love, love the deep iridescence from Cleona. I really want to grab a couple more shades. I know some other brands have their own versions of them, and I don't need to buy from Cleona, because their shipping is quite expensive to the UK. And their customs and all that, but at the same time, I just want Cleona. This shade is just so magnificent on the finger and swatched out. It is so beautiful. It's so smooth and shiny and shifty and still sparkly. It is wonderful. I would say that this is more of like a more substantiated version of Glam Shop Laser, and because of the tan like base to it, I wouldn't say it's a grey base, it's definitely a tan base. Because of the tan base, it works really beautifully with other like murky tones. And we're moving on to the final shade in this palette, and it is a matte, and this right here is Wisps. It's Wisps, not Wispies, from Dandelions Co. And this is a deep forest green matte. Oh, this is pigmented. Like, oh my goodness, I definitely want to get more Dandelions Co shades, specifically like their pastels and their deeps, because look at that on the finger. It looks almost like chalk in the best way possible. Like, it's so saturated. Obviously now it's not going to swatch well, for God's sake. But this is a beautifully saturated deep forest green. It blends beautifully. I love it with all my heart. Again, I don't really have much to say about matte shadows. Again, it's quite powdery, like the other Dandelion's co-shadows. As you can see, like, there's bits everywhere. There is a bit of fallout on your face when you blend, but after that, it is just so deep, so saturated. It doesn't blend out into a grey or into like a brown, which I find some deep greens, if they're not like high quality, they can do that. Right, my surgeon's rags are looking very worse for wear. I've ripped them, Christ, and I've stained my hand. Oh yeah, that is one thing to note. That green shade from Dandelion's, it do be staining. Alright, real quick, I'm gonna swatch all of them on my arm, and then I will take you through that. Rightio, and here are all of the eyeshadows swatched out on my arm. As you can see, such a variety of greens. Like, I am so pleased that I don't really have any crossover in my collection. These two shades do look similar, but they're quite different on the eyes. So let's go through all of them, and then I'll do like a close-up so you can see them a bit better. So we have Terra Moon's Light Year, Terra Coalescence, Shine by SD and Seeking Shift's Verdigris, Glam Shop Laser, Terra Moon's Fourth Dimension, Terra Moon's Radiation, Terra Moon's Kazar, Cleona Heirloom, Glam Shop Acidic, I believe it's called, Dandelion's Calamon, Cleona Verde, and Dandelion's Wisps. I don't know. These are all of the shades. Close up. My lighting isn't super great to show the shifts when I swatch on my arm, but you've seen all the close-ups. And that concludes my selection of my favourite green single shadows, so let's get on into the outro. So that is it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Do let me know what's your favourite green single shadow. If you had to pick your top 3, what are your top 3? If you'd like to see more makeup content from me, then you can follow me on my Instagram. It's faerie.skye right here. I post all my looks there and I'm active on there every single day. If you'd like to support me further, I do have my own small business, Raincloud Candles Co. We are a small queer-owned business based in the UK and we make handmade candles. The link to shop will be down below, along with our social media if you'd like to support us. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't already. I'd love to have you here. And as always, stay safe, wash your hands, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!